A hot bubble bath, a warm cup of hot chocolate on a cold, rainy day, a little retail therapy, all things we've come to call self-care. And don't get me wrong, I indulge in all of those things too, but I also know this version of myself. I work too hard, I overextend, and I go out of my way to serve others, sometimes at my own expense. So as a recovering people pleaser, I find myself asking, how do I balance my calling with self-care? The idea of self-care has changed. It started in the 1950s in medical spaces, helping patients regain autonomy and self-worth. It was later politicized by the Black Panther Party in the 1970s, and now it's become a $450 billion commercialized industry. And if we're being honest, today, self-care often feels synonymous with self-indulgence, selfishness, and sometimes even narcissism. From a biblical perspective, it's clear that this life isn't about centering ourselves. We're called to make disciples of others, to love one another and to bear one another's burdens. And yet, the Bible also says, love others as yourself. It tells us to rest, to be still, that our bodies are temples. That sounds kind of self-care-ish to me. Here's the shift. Everything we have, our mind, our body, our spirit, our gifts, our talents, even our time, all of it is a gift from God, entrusted to us. Which means the goal isn't to pour endlessly until there's nothing left. The goal is to take care of what we've been given well enough to do what God has called us to do. Because when we don't, we limit what we can give to others. So in my opinion, self-care is just the worldly term for biblical stewardship. God is the owner. We are the managers, which means how we care for ourselves is directly connected to how we serve Him. Because we were never called to work 12-hour days non-stop, be available to everyone at all times, or pour into others until we're completely depleted. That mindset is exactly what created the need for the self-care movement in the first place. Even Jesus, He poured into people, yes, but He also withdrew. He rested, He prayed, He had rhythm, He had boundaries. So the question isn't, how much can I give until I break? The question is, how do I steward what God has given me so I can serve Him faithfully for the long haul? Burnout is not a badge of honor, exhaustion is not a spiritual gift, and martyrdom is not the mission. God didn't call us to run ourselves into the ground in His name. He called us to walk with Him, work with Him, and steward what He placed in our hands. Because yes, we are vessels, and vessels require care. Not care rooted in indulgence, but care rooted in responsibility, so we can stay full enough to keep pouring into what God has called us to do.